So this is our gaming podcast, where we talk about gaming news and we talk about everything that we've been playing in our personal lives.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis video games last 2 weeks. And I start, right?
Sure thing. Are we doing a regular podcast?
After this, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've got stories, but I think I'll save them for that.
Yeah. No, we have to, there's a certain Mario thing we have to talk about.
Sure.
In the regular podcast. I know what you're thinking. But Anthony, isn't Mario a video game thing?
Perfect impression of me and our fans.
Perfect impression of someone. Okay, so I have a story.
Yeah.
A video game story.
All right, I'm ready.
When I was a kid, there's a game called Super Mario Land.
Okay.
And I know you've never played it because it's a handheld game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically Mario. You know, you play one Mario game, you play them all. It was very hard. I watched my dad beat it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the point where I was just like, I'm not even going to try to beat this. It's because you have to do the whole game without dying.
Okay.
It was just a little too hard for a little baby Anthony. But there was a sequel called Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins. It's the first game that Wario is in. He's the main villain. This game I played the shit out of. And it's got a very unique setup. Oh, it is hat @T_L_game on TikTok for now if you want to follow. There it is.
If you want to follow me, I want to T_L_gaming. Okay. I mean, that's close enough,
that's not
right?
The worst.
Yeah.
It could
have
be
been
better.
like 123 pissboys at Gmail.
Yeah. Oh God. What
TikTok.
was the Billie Eilish famously had a? It was like Coochie Destroyer 5 or something like that. It was something like incredibly vulgar, and she was like, "Oh, I'm super famous now. I've got to change this."
Good.
Yeah. So the sequel was way easier. So I started playing that. And I never beat it. Because the way this game is set up is it's basically like, think of the map from Super Mario World, except like you can basically go wherever you want at first. There's 6 worlds, and you could do any world you want in any order.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of each world, they're short. It's like 3 levels each. And at the end of the 3rd level, there's a boss. If you beat the boss, you get a coin. If you get all 6 coins, you get to go to the last level. It's just one level, and that's where you fight Wario. So the way this game works, though, is let's say you have like 3 boss coins.
Yeah.
If you die, you lose the boss coins, but not your progress in the worlds themselves. So all you have to do is go do all the bosses again real quick. So I played it a bunch as a kid, a big time killer, never beat it. Cut all the way to high school. At this point, I've probably played it, 10, 20 times, whatever. Still never beat it. And I was like, I'm going to beat it. So I had never even actually seen the last level at this point.
Oh, shit.
So I finally made it to the last level.
You never heard Wario fart in this one?
He doesn't fart because it's a Game Boy, and you're lucky if
fair.
that makes any sound at all. But I had never actually even seen the last level. I finally got to it. It was very hard.
This is high school.
This is high school.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of it. I remember.
Well, you were in a daze.
I remember.
Understandable.
I remember giving up pretty quickly because
Okay.
I was like, "This is."
Oh, because if you die, you got to start over again anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. That's the thing, right? Either you die and you do all the bosses again, and then it's like, well, my attempts at this level are really spread out.
Yeah.
Or you grind for lives, and grinding for lives in that game is easy and super boring because the most consistent way to get lives is there's like a slot machine, and depending on how many coins you put in the slot machine, you have a better chance of getting lives. Even if you put 999, the max amount of coins you can hold, into the slot machine, there's a chance the slot machine gives you no lives.
Oh, shit.
So it was a big struggle for me as a high schooler to get to the last level. So we're going to talk about this in the news, but cut to earlier last week, and they have released this game on the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing it.
Yo, Roo.
Hello! Oh my
What's
God!
up?
So many people.
I know.
Welcome on in. I'm talking about
You
trauma.
got Ashuria and Roo. That's so cool. Talking
Yeah.
about trauma.
I'm talking about my biggest childhood trauma. No, that's a joke.
Trauma in Nintendo. Should have put that in the Instagram post.
So a couple things about this new port. It's just a ROM, right? You know, it's completely untouched, so it's the exact same game. They did, however, because it's on the Nintendo Online thing, they added save states and they added rewinding. And as far as like cheesing the game in order to beat it, I refuse to use those.
Okay.
Obviously, I was creating save states so I could literally shut the game off and play it later.
Right.
But like using them the way you're supposed to use them. And I'm not like.
No, you want to play classic. You want to play classic.
Yeah,
style.
no.
I get that.
If someone wants to abuse save states and rewind, I'm not judging you at all. I don't care. I just for me,
no, I
had to do this one.
Sure thing.
So
it's personal.
I got to Wario probably in a half hour, literally no joke. And then I spent the next 2 weeks trying to fight Wario. So I did, however, and I would like to explain myself, I did end up using save states because here's what's up, right? I'm standing in front of Wario's castle with 4 lives.
Sure.
And
as one does.
My mindset is like either I'm going to grind for lives until I have the max amount of lives, which I know I can do and is super easy and will take fucking forever. Or I could just I could just save in front of Wario's castle, which in my mind is the same exact amount of effort as doing that. It just takes way less time.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be able to throw myself at this level over and over again. And holy shit, did I need to do that because it was so hard. So this level breaks all of the rules of this game. Most levels are like probably a minute to a minute and a half long, probably even shorter if you know exactly where to go. There's a checkpoint halfway through in case you do die. The level's full of, little secrets, tiny secrets, big secrets. And this level, the last Wario level, is, I swear to God, like maybe 8 times longer than a normal level. There's no checkpoints at all. There's 3 mini bosses, no mini bosses in the entire rest of the game.
Damn.
And then Wario himself has 3 phases. So we always talk about the Mario rule of 3s. You have to hit him 9 times.
Jesus.
You fight him, and then you fight him with, he has one of the power-ups, and you fight him with another one of the power-ups. I was so close. At this point I can only assume he has 3 stages. For all I know, I'm halfway through this goddamn level, and but so I jumped and took what would have been the last hit, and I died because this game's old, and it was just like, oh, sorry, you touched his hat weird.
That shit sucks. The hitboxes not being great.
Right.
Oh my God.
And that's one of those moments where I was genuinely like, if I just hit rewind, I could just go back a few seconds and make my jump arc a little bit less shitty. But I didn't. And finally, after all that complaining about the level that I just did to you, I sent all that in a text message to my friend Jen. And then I took a shower. And then after the shower, I finally beat Super Mario Land 2. And
so you just tried again?
I kept trying again, from the beginning. And it was a really interesting experience. The first time I turned this fucking video game on, I was 5 years old, and I'm now 29, and I've never beat this game, and I just did for the first time.
I hear that. It's crazy.
When I took that jump, the fateful jump that didn't clear the game, I screamed no so loud that I hurt my throat. When I beat Wario, when I finally beat him, there was a moment of like, is it fucking over? Because who knows? Because he turns into a baby, and then he like scurries away, and I was like, I'm gonna have to fight baby him. But you didn't. That was the whole game. And then the credits started rolling, and I got to hear the credits music for the first time in my whole life. and I just like there was no pop off. I was just like, okay, like it didn't matter. It was so weird. It was just like that part of my life is over now. Like I don't mean to be philosophical about it, but I was just like,
That
okay,
chapter's over.
I was like, cool.
It's kind of how I felt with when I beat Ocarina of Time, because I started. This is how young I was. I was probably roughly the same age. My dad likes video games, so he got it when it came out. So 96 or whatever. I don't think it was a launch.
90. It was not a launch. It was 97.
97, sure. So I 3 years old when that game was in our house. I probably started around 5, and I had the manual because they came.
Yeah.
So I was reading the manual as much as I could, and from what I got from the manual was Link's gonna grow with me.
Oh,
like he's a fucking chia pet or something.
Okay.
So, fast forward to I've figured this out at this point, but fast forward to me in high school, and I'm like, this fucker didn't age with me. I had figured it out already, but I was just like, I clearly misunderstood that. But I had one of my friends come over, and old school. He's got the manual, not like the little leaflet.
The strategy guide.
He's got the manual for this game.
I have that. I have the strategy guide for Majora's Mask. It did not help. I think Majora's Mask is a bad game, but that's
I've never played it. I never played it because I wanted to beat Ocarina of Time first. I also didn't have the save pack.
Right.
And then I finally got my hands on Majora's Mask I got my hands on Donkey Kong, which I think you're currently borrowing. I might have it back. You borrowed it at some point.
Yeah. It's fun. Not worth.
Yeah, but you need the save pack for
you
it.
do,
or the Rumble pack. You need
expansion
something.
Pack is
expansion.
What it's called, which is a confusing title in the modern day, but that's what it's called.
And I don't care to play Majora's Mask, at least not on the N64.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to play now, it's on Switch.
Yeah.
You can just load up the N64 Battle Pass. That's not what it's called, but you know what I mean.
I didn't 100%, but I'm so close. I still have yet to 100% Ocarina of Time.
I don't think I ever did either. You have to catch
I have one Poe.
Yeah,
that
there's
I
like
cannot
50
find.
of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
down
a
to
lot.
one. I don't know where the fuck it is.
That shit sucks. You also went through that with Battle for Bikini Bottom because it's like
it's one of the craziest alarm in the world.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, I could look up a guide, but who knows? Like this guide is going to tell me where all 50 of them are, and if I go there and it's not there, I guess I'll just like I hate that shit.
No, I hear you.
Because you're like, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, well, now I'm in the area of Poe 13, and it's not here, but maybe I'll wait a few seconds. Who knows if this is the one I missed? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you followed the guide from the beginning, which is no fun, it'd be no problem.
Right.
No, I totally get why you haven't done that yet.
But your story just reminded me of that. Like, and here's the thing: I don't hold any, like my Zelda Ocarina of Time journey is complete as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll feel like sitting down to finish it off, but I'm glad you got your closure.
Oh,
I also had a game that I waited a long time for.
No, and there's been other games that I'm like, oh, I played this as a kid. Let me play it as an adult. I'm like, oh, now that I'm an adult with a fucking brain, I know how to do this. Oh, I beat it. Neat. But this game, I was just like, if it wasn't for the high school arc, I wouldn't have this, like, I've never beaten it. I've still never beaten it. Because you just fuck around with games as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't give a shit. And then you keep playing games into your adulthood, and now we live in the it's 2012. We live in the world with achievements and trophies and the completionist on YouTube. And it's just like I would like to beat. That's the other thing that's like kind of sad about this. I didn't even on this particular run of Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins.
This 20-year run, yeah.
I didn't 100% it. I just got to the final boss as quick as possible because I was just like, I've got to beat that fucker. I've got to meet that fucker so I can beat that fucker. Because as we know, I hadn't even found Wario I was merely stuck on.
New TNL quote. Meet that fucker to beat
I
that
gotta
fucker.
meet that fucker so I can beat that fucker. Hi.
Yeah.
You come into to. Ooh, you're
Just
probably
off.
really
Oh,
on camera
kind of.
now.
No, just almost kind of a little bit.
Over here. Look, this is the hand that's gonna pet you. No, you're. Yeah. Kitty. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I also real quick about 2 other things. I got the new Fire Emblem game. I'm not going to talk about it because I know I'm going to be playing it next time we have a video game podcast, and I have a lot of stuff to say, so I'll talk about that then. I just if I hadn't beat Super Mario Land 2, I would probably be talking about Fire Emblem because there's really no story if I didn't beat it. But because I beat it and there's other games on that platform, I started playing for the first time ever Wario Land 3, and it is the weirdest fucking video game I've ever played.
Yeah?
It does not work how video games work. It's just so weird.
When did that come out?
Wario Land 3?
Yeah.
It was a late Game Boy 2000. I just remembered
Holy
the
shit.
copyright year. I noticed that. I was like, that's late for a Game Boy game. Yeah, that came out in 2000. It's just like you enter a level and you find a key, and then you're like, oh, neat. And then you find a treasure chest that's a different color, and the key you have doesn't open it, and you're like, oh, okay. You keep going. You find the treasure chest that's the right color. You open it, and then Wario's like, great job. You found 1 of 4 treasures and 0 of 8 keys. Time to go to the world map. We're done with this level. And I was like, wait, what? So I went back in the level. I was completely blocked off from like most of the level. I was like, what's going on? You're supposed to jump around from level to level. It's like, now go to world 2 and get the red chest. Now go to world, you just unlocked 3 and 4. Now go to world 4, then get the gray chest, then go back to world 3 to get the green chest. Then you're going to open world 2, but you're going to want to go back to world 1. And it's just like boss battles are in weird places. You can't die. The way power-ups work is sometimes enemies will hit you and you'll turn into a thing. And now you have a temporary power-up. There's no dying.
Okay.
Every boss battle is designed in a way where they have a move that throws you upward and traps you, so you have to walk all the way back around to start the boss fight over. There's no dying. You can die you can even die in Kirby. But in Wario, I think the whole thing is like Wario's like selfish and greedy, and he like sucks, and like no, you're not supposed to like Wario, and that's why we all love him. So I think that's what it is. Like, he's too stubborn to die, literally. But yeah, it's just a bizarre game. But I'm having a lot of fun. I looked up a walkthrough just because I truly didn't know what I was doing. And then once I figured out, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense, I guess. But forgive me for not making sense of this at first, because I thought I knew how video games worked. But that's what I've been doing in games.
That's awesome. It sounds like you had a really like personal week. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just so baffled that like there was no pop off. I was just like I beat Mario Land 2. I was just like, all right.
Well, I think you had been building it up in your head so much that once it happened, you had already gone through the emotions that you would have had. Also, I think you were probably a little miffed. Like, I think the wind was taken out of your sails that janky hitbox knocked you out when you should have beat him.
Yeah. You think that if that jump did it,
I'm sure you would have been psyched. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I just had like a William Shatner in space moment where I was just like, I beat it and I'm closer to death. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else to say here. Like, I'm like, I beat it and I look up, there's a giant crowd. I'm like, you want me to fucking say something? I beat it. I don't care. I'm leaving. Bye.
I mean, there could have been had you done it on stream.
No, I know.
For anybody who doesn't watch our video game streams, that's exactly how they go. What do you want me to fucking... Are you entertained? Did you enjoy that? That's the attitude that we bring to that stream.
All right, well, the next game is Who Cares? Follow or don't. Who cares? It's bye.
How was my week in video games, you ask?
Yes.
Entirely Elden Ring absorbed.
Yes, let's go. How are we doing?
Okay. I'm going to say some things.
Okay.
And I think you might be a little... I like this game a lot.
Okay.
It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I hit
I have plenty of complaints about this.
I hit a couple snags.
Yeah.
And I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. That's easing me more into this conversation because I've only heard you say good things about this. So
no, there's with any before you even start with any From Software game that's like Dark Souls, because From Software makes games that aren't Dark Souls likes. There is sort of, even with Bloodborne, which is my personal favorite game of all time, some parts of it, and I don't know if this is what you're going to talk about, but it's just like some parts of it, you really get the sense where you as the player, you're just like, okay, guys, like something's got to give. Like this is a little much.
That's okay. I've hit that point.
I'm curious where.
So the way the map's set up, you know this.
Yeah.
I go a little this way, then I go a little this way, then I go a little this way. I stop here. I get stopped here. Then I try going this way to level up, and I'm kind of doing this, building up the map.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to crack through it, but I just reached a point where I'm not at the level the game wants me to be to fight any of the bosses in any of the areas that I need to beat in order to build my weapons up further. And I'm just, it's like you said, it's like something's got to give. You either have to give me the, like I said to Pauline, I was fighting the bull scorpion, I forget what it's called. It's like a falling star, he's got a tail whips around, and he's got bull horns in the front, and he's like, "Rrr."
Oh, that thing's super hard. I hate fighting that thing.
Yeah, it fucking sucked.
Isn't it called like, it's got a fucked up name like Winged Mistress of 1,000 Nightmares or some shit like that, right?
No, it was like, it's falling star something. It was in like a comet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it literally gave the smithing stones that I needed to make my swords better. And Pauline looked it up, and it was like, it's weak to magic. And I was like, well, this game didn't fucking teach me how to do magic, so I'm still figuring that shit out.
It didn't teach you how to do magic.
It didn't teach me how to do magic.
How did it not teach you how to do?
The tutorial mentioned nothing about magic. I know how to swing swords. That's all I know.
That doesn't sound right to me.
She finally figured it out. I've finally got a staff that I'm utilizing, and it's it's working.
Maybe I just knew how to do magic because I've played Dark Souls games before, but I'm pretty sure the game taught me how to do magic, because magic's a little different in this game than
I'd
usual.
say.
Maybe you... No, I mean from normal Dark Souls games. Maybe you... I don't know. That's very interesting. What class did you pick? Not that matters.
Vanguard.
But Vanguard, okay.
And the reason I picked it was it's a pretty even-keeled, everything's kind of the same stats-wise to start. And I leveled up FP, and I started using summons. I can use summons just fine.
Yeah.
But when it came to staff stuff, I'd pull the staff out, and he'd just be like, oh, it doesn't work. And
yeah, because you need to equip a spell. It sounds like you are...
I had spells equipped.
Okay, then I don't know what.
What the issue was, I wasn't at the proper intelligence level.
Oh, yes, right.
But at no point did the game say to me, these are the stats you need to level up.
Yeah, if you look at the spell, it'll tell you.
Okay.
If you go to the spell page, you look at it, it'll tell you, like, and the ones that are wrong will be, the ones that are not
red.
high enough will be red.
Yeah, no, I've got it now. I just assumed, I don't know. I don't know what I assumed. I've never played one of these games before, so I was like, I get it, my intelligence isn't high enough, but is that it? Is that all that's missing?
Yeah, basically, I mean, obviously, if you I forget exactly what stat it is, but there's like magic there's a stat that governs magic damage, and obviously the more that goes up, the more damage you do.
Yeah.
But as far as using and utilizing the spells, each spell has its own parameters.
Okay.
So you had to use magic to beat this boss?
No, it would have made it 1,000 times easier. I just fucking muscled my way through them, and it was not easy. And the combos are just, I like get stunned, and he kills me immediately with a combo, and it's like, did you want my health leveled up for this, or did you want my fucking FP leveled up?
Yeah.
Because I could not get both where you wanted them for this fight.
I gotta say, I don't know which one you fought, but there is a harder version of that fight later in the game.
It's the one at the top of Mount Gelmir.
The one at the top.
It's clearly the hardest one. It's like full grown or something like that in the title.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then maybe you are fighting the. Then there's a
There's an easier one near the capital, which I just fought,
There's an easier one near the.
and
Maybe
in
I
a
don't
cave.
Sorry, I'm gonna look this. Thing
Yeah.
up. Maybe I don't know what we're talking about. You said it's called the Falling Star.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna type in
Falling Star something or other.
Falling Star Beast.
Yes. Okay.
A massive. Oh, this is not what I thought we were talking about.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
You did the big jump.
Yeah.
You're in the crater.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. This guy I didn't struggle with as much as the thing I'm talking about. But I did struggle with this one. I don't remember there being two.
There was
them.
3. There's one.
I don't doubt it because this game's got like literally every boss except like the final 2 bosses you fight multiple times.
Yeah.
I was thinking of completely the wrong thing.
That's okay.
But
I'm just. It's getting to the point where it's hard for the sake of being hard. It's not challenging. It's just this game is a bit too difficult at points. Like, it's not fun. I'm not enjoying myself. It's not a challenge. This is just, I need to get lucky is what needs to happen. You've made it so these bosses can counter and don't get stunned that much when I hit, but I do.
I gotta recommend once again switching to katanas.
Yeah.
It is like night and day. I love katanas, and I think you will too, because the way katanas works is like you do a stance and you wait, and then you just do like a big attack, and usually it will like, you know that thing that enemies do where they're like, oh no, I'm fucked now. It usually does that. Like there's a couple bosses where you could just like swing, and that's the whole fight. And then
interesting.
If you use katanas long enough to realize that you don't need shields, your other hand is better utilized holding a second katana.
I'm already double swording. I'm using straight swords.
Yeah.
But
I think I recommend katanas. I'd say equip one, go to like an open field and just touch all the buttons and see what it does. And like
I'll try them out
because
I do have a handful of them.
Yeah, they're good, and you get some cool ones. You get a katana, and the reason that katanas are cool, for what you were talking about specifically, is you eventually get a katana. I don't remember where. I'm sorry. It's been so long, and the game's huge. But you get a katana that when you do that charge up move I'm talking about, it shoots a magic beam out of it. So even if you are like, I didn't want to equip spells for this fight, you don't have to, because the thing that's weak to magic is going to be weak to your katana.
Yeah. All right, you're convincing me. I'm gonna check them out. But
it's called the Moonveil katana. Or no,
I think I have it.
It's just called Moonveil. I
think I have it.
Yeah, equip that one. Make sure you equip it in the left hand, because that's how you get the special abilities to activate. But yeah, if you do the charge move with Moonveil, where he has it in the holster and he's like, whatcha, that should shoot a beam of magic. Assuming obviously it takes magic to use it,
right? Like
Magic Bar.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, walking out of this week with that game, my headspace, and I even said this to Pauline, but I'm just like, I'm excited to get back to Pokemon. Like, I'm going to finish this game. Also, I've beat 3 bosses. Apparently, I could just end the game if I wanted to. You can just go right to the final boss, I guess, in the capital. Pauline looked it up. She said you only need 2.
You have to... No, you go to where the final boss is, and you fight a boss. You have to fight through the capital to do that, and then after you fight through the capital, they're like, this is what the real capital looks like, and then you have to essentially like do it again.
Okay.
And then if you wanted, you can fight the final boss. There is a lot of side areas that are very, very cool that I recommend, but obviously if you don't want to do those, no worries.
Oh no, I'm probably gonna do all fucking 6 or 8 of the big bosses.
You gotta, at the very least, if you're like, I don't want to do all the bonus stuff, you gotta fight her. You gotta fight Melania. You gotta say you did.
Oh, sure.
Because she's like, she's the like, I'm a little harder than the final boss. Like, she's the real like everyone who's played Elden Ring is like, oh, but have you beat Melania yet?
Interesting. Okay.
But she's difficult to locate. I'll say that much. The least fun I had with this game was trying to get to her area.
Okay.
When I got to her area, it was smooth sailing. Dark Souls is normal, but getting to her area, it was like a multiple guide. I can't figure this out.
Interesting. All right. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, that's my week. I think we should jump right into news because I think we got a fair amount of it.
Well, here's the thing, right? There's 2 stories. One of them is short, and one of them is a Nintendo Direct, so it's a bunch of games we're going to talk about.
Right.
So we're going to start with that. Let me get this photo up real quick. Boop, boop, boop. Yes, okay, so there was a Nintendo Direct on the 8th of February. Ooh, excuse me. And we are going to do what we normally do. We're going to talk about everything. Some of them are just going to mention, but this was a pretty hype Direct, so a lot of them we're going to have a little mini discussion about. So I'm just going to rattle off some names real quick. They announced, they showed more of Have a Nice Death. They showed a new Tron game called Tron Identity. I don't even remember that. WBCS Baseball Power Pros. That game's made by Konami. It is only $1 at full price. It's like an online always baseball thing that I played 4 seconds of and then deleted because I was like, I'm good. Harmony: The Fall of Revieri. Don't even know what that is. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. This is a collection of all the old Mega Man Game Boy Advance games that I'm really excited about. I thought it would be out by now, but we're looking at an April release for that. Tales of Symphonia Remastered is on other stuff already, I believe, so it's not huge news. Omega Strikers, free-to-play thing that's already out. There's a new Disney Dreamlight Valley update. It's got Simba and Nala and Girl from Encanto.
Okay.
Blanc was talked about. And then Deca Police. It looked like a weird, like, I don't know. It reminded me of like Danganronpa style Professor Layton type thing. It didn't look like a game I'd like.
Okay.
And now literally everything else is stuff I want to talk about for a second or two. So Dead Cells, which is a Metroidvania style roguelike that has Dark Souls like combat, is getting Castlevania DLC. We knew about this already. This was talked about at the Game Awards. It's very exciting because this game is basically like, what if we were Castlevania? And now they are, basically. They said there's going to be 50 tracks, like music tracks, which is crazy. So I'm very excited for that. That's coming out soon. They announced Sea of Stars, which is a game I've actually played. I downloaded the demo for it, and it's really, really good. And I'm glad they did that demo, because I saw the, 30 seconds of footage they showed. I was like, I don't know, it looks like a game. But I downloaded the demo, and it's basically, and I know you've never played any of these games, but it's an RPG. It's basically Golden Sun, but the combat is like Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And you have like a meter that fills up in battle, like a fighting game. And when the meter fills, you get to use special attacks, and all the special attacks are Chrono Trigger style, like 2 characters combine their abilities to do one attack. It was really cool, and the demo was short and very digestible. I'm very excited for it. And I found out that game is a prequel to The Messenger, which is a hack and slash 2D platformer. So they're like in the same universe,
okay,
but they're like completely different games. And I didn't know that. I just happened to look it up. They're making a new Fantasy Life game, Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time. It looks very... Fantasy Life is an old DS series.
Okay.
This one looks very, like, post New Horizons. Like, this is how people do simulator games now.
Gotcha.
There's a new expansion pack for Fire Emblem Engage. They added a bunch of cool new characters. There's a game called Fashion Dreamer, which I was texting during because I didn't really care about it. There's a new expansion pack for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I also don't know what that is. Sorry. A couple years ago, they re-released Katamari Damacy, which is that game. I like it. I've talked about it before. It's a game where you like roll up trash, essentially, and that's the whole game.
Oh, I vaguely remember you talking about this. Yeah.
So they re-released it, and I downloaded the demo, and I was like, oh, this is just the same game. so I'm not going to buy this because it's $30 that I don't have. And if I really, really, really wanted to play this, I could just play it on PS2.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I've always said that We Love Katamari, the sequel that's also on PS2, is a way better game. That one's being remade on Switch, and they're actually like adding more stuff to it. It's not just a port, so I'm very excited for that. It's called We Love Katamari Reroll Royal Reverie, because fuck you. More Mario Kart 8, obviously. They announced that the next, what do you call them? Booster Course Pass is going to come out in April. Or no, sorry, they just said spring. I just assumed April. And they showed off one course, the new course. It's based off the video game Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. It looks beautiful. It looks just like Yoshi's Island. I can't wait. They're also adding a new character out of nowhere. They're adding Birdo, and there's going to be like 900 Birdo colors like there always is with those types of characters. And then they...
How many more packs for that are there?
Including this one, 3.
3 more?
Yes. Including the Birdo one.
That video we want to make is going to be a while, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be 2024. That's what I was telling you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Gives us time to practice.
I'm not. I refuse. No, just kidding.
Well, yeah.
Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection. This is the first 3 Etrian Odyssey games. I personally am not a fan of Etrian Odyssey, but it's more of a like I could like the games aren't bad. I'm just sort of like I can see why people would like this. Not for me. But that's cool that people are getting a it looks very like HDified. Like they you look up footage of Etrian Odyssey, you're like, how are they gonna like remake this? They did a pretty good job. We have a new chat message, I believe.
Oh. More time to make it right.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Do you know what this is? Okay, so I've heard about this. I've never played it. It's a DS game. It takes place in the Phoenix Wright universe, and it's got literally the same plot as Murdered Soul Suspect. You play a private investigator who, at the start of level 1, dies, and then you have to solve. You come back as a ghost. You have to solve your own murder.
Oh shit, that's funny. That's cool.
So there's that is coming to Switch. And it just says Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. It doesn't say like remaster or whatever. So I think it's literally just a port, which is fine. That game, if it's just on DS, fucking yeah, put it on whatever. Put it on everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like no one's gonna play your game anymore, but now they are. Samba de Amigo Party Central. This is the first Samba de Amigo game in like something crazy like 11 or 12 years. They are Latin America music themed rhythm games.
Okay.
They showed Minecraft Legends. I don't care. They showed this direct was literally just Game Boy Advance, GameCube era re-releases, and I'm so excited about it. They're re-releasing Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD remaster is what it's called. So these games are really obscure. Not many people know about them, which is why I was very excited that they're remaking them. And they're remaking both of them, not just the one that people like. Because I like this game, but I don't ever heard anyone fucking talking about it. So this game is like an anomaly. It was made by Namco, the people who make Pac-Man and Dig Dug and all those games. It is a RPG. So imagine literally Final Fantasy X, except instead of picking your moves from a menu, you have a deck of cards.
Oh no, not cards.
But no, but you don't move around like in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
It's like Final Fantasy X. Your characters stand there and wait for you to pick cards.
Okay.
And you it'll be like, oh, if you use a healing card, you'll heal. But if you use 2 healing cards, like it's like that.
Same mechanics, but except you don't have to move and all that.
Right.
Bullshit.
In that regard, it's basically the same as Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, but there's no moving around a course. It's literally like a Final Fantasy game. Like, unless you press a button, no one's attacking anybody else.
Okay. Drizzle says Chelsea was excited for the Ghost Trick game. She said it was really good.
Yeah, dude, I've never played it, and the only person I know who's ever played it is Chelsea. But every time anyone ever talks about it, they're like, "Oh, what a great game!" So I'm looking forward to finally playing it. They talked more about Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. They showed off a new feature that has cemented that I will not be buying this game. Apparently, you don't attack. You have a little like demon friend that attacks for you,
Jojo.
and it didn't look like fun. I don't know. I'm
Okay.
not looking forward to it, and I'm not going to play it. Octopath Traveler 2 is still a thing. Master Detective Archives Rain Code. This game looked interesting. I don't have much to say about it. It looked like I don't have much to say about it. It looked fine. It looked I don't think you would like it.
Okay.
It looks like one of those games where like if it was on sale I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll buy it."
But not me.
No. Disney Illusion Island. It's a 2D platformer based off there's like the new Mickey Mouse cartoon where they're like it's old animation. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's based off that.
Okay.
4 playable characters, the 4 you would assume. There's a new Professor Layton game coming out. Professor Layton in the New World of Steam. I've never played Professor Layton, but I thought Professor Layton was dead and that you play as his daughter or niece or whatever now. But he's going to be in this one, so good for him for not being dead. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So Kirby's Return to Dreamland is the Wii Kirby game, my personal favorite Kirby game. But once again, I was like, if you're just going to re-release it, I'm not going to buy it. But they've added 2 extra modes. They've added a mode that's basically like completely different. It's like a little like park you can run around. It looks weird. And they're adding a mode where you play as the main villain, and you literally get to see what happens to him after you beat him in the main game. And it's just like more levels. It looks like they're really... When they showed this game off, it was just like, it's Kirby Return to Dreamland, but we put a filter on it. $60, please. And I'm like, no. But it seems like they're really making it worth it, which is nice.
Cool.
Splatoon 3 expansion pack, I don't understand. As far as I can tell, it's just a skin. So you can visit the area in Splatoon 1, but as far as like what all the shops do and what all the menus do, they do the exact same thing that they're supposed to do in Splatoon 3. Like if you want to do Salmon Run, which is a game mode in that game, but you're in the Splatoon 1 hub world, you just go to the Salmon Run store in the Splatoon 1 hub world, and then you're back to the normal Splatoon 3. Like, it just looks like a skin to me.
Okay.
But people are really excited about it, and people are like, "Oh, I'm so nostalgic, looking forward to this." And I love Splatoon 1. I played the fuck out of it. I don't get... I think I missed something. I must have.
Okay.
Because this expansion pack is like normally priced as like $20-$30. And this is expansion pack... I thought it was called Wave 1, but it's called expansion pack in Inkopolis. So I don't know why that exists, but like I said, I think I might have missed something. They showed off Pikmin 4. This is a game that people have wanted for a long time. This is a game that they recently like mentioned, like, oh yeah, Pikmin 4 is the thing. It looks good. Pikmin's one of those games where like it's gonna be good and I'm gonna buy it. I don't really have anything to say about the trailer.
Yeah.
Like Pikmin's not the series where I'm like, ooh, so there's a new enemy type. Like it's just like it'll happen and it'll be good. They showed off more Tears of the Kingdom. Once again, that game's gonna come out. It's gonna be great. People are convinced that Matt Mercer is voicing Ganondorf, but no one has confirmed anything yet.
Okay.
Because Ganondorf is in this game. Because he wasn't in the last one.
Oh yeah, it's just straight up Ganon.
Yeah. So they're doing that whole thing. I don't know. Tears of the Kingdom, like I keep saying, like it looks good. I'm definitely gonna buy it. It's the sequel to one of the best games of all time. But I'll just, I don't know. It's probably good.
Yeah.
They announced Metroid Prime Remastered. So Metroid Prime is sort of a do we got a...
Oh, we do. Gonna go do some napping.
Nice.
But, well, great show.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your nap. Metroid Prime 4 was announced, like, I think in 2014, and it's still not out. There was a big, huge, like, around 2018, they were like, hi, sorry it's taking so long, but we're starting over. we got the original developers of the old Metroid Prime games to make this one. So it's going to be really good, but it's still not out. And now it's 2023, and it's still not out. But I think it might be coming soon because Metroid Prime, the original Metroid Prime and the GameCube, has been remastered, and everyone who's been playing it says it's great. Apparently, this is a new feature. Apparently, you can, because it's a first-person shooter, you can move the camera while shooting, which was not a thing in the original, I guess.
Okay.
I played the original not that much as a kid, so that's cool, I guess. That's definitely on my list, but I like I said earlier, I've been playing through the new Fire Emblem game, so I'm gonna get through that first.
Ooh, Ashuria says Ganon and Ganondorf are different people.
Yes.
Are they, or is it more so different forms, like Frieza?
No, it's more like, sorry for the comparison, but it's more like God and Jesus. It's like Ganon is a deity, and Ganondorf is like his human form.
Okay. Good comparison.
Thank you.
I get it.
They're basically different people, but like every game that has Ganondorf in it, he's going to turn into Ganon, and that's going to be the final boss.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Ashuria, you let us know if that,
because the way Zelda games works is the final boss is Ganon. The final boss is Ganondorf, who turns into Ganon, or the final boss is completely something different.
Yeah.
Like in Minish Cap, his name is Vati. We do have a...
So Ganondorf is an avatar of Ganon?
Basically, yeah. Ganondorf is
right.
like... So the what are they called? The desert people? The Gerudos. It's a race of entirely women.
Yeah.
And every 100 years a male is born, and that's Ganondorf. And he's, he's the Triforce of Power. He's the reincarnate of evil. All that stuff. But yeah, his main goal is like bringing Ganon back to full power, and that usually consists of turning into giant pig monster Ganon, very directly. So they are different characters. And the way they're doing it in Tears of the Kingdom seems really interesting, because it seems like Ganondorf might be like a zombie that like is coming back from the dead, like rising from the ashes of the Ganon you fought in the original. I don't know. It seems really cool.
That's cool.
But they've been keeping the story under wraps, which is neat. The last thing on this Nintendo Direct is that Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, and technically Game Boy Color games, but whatever, are on the Nintendo Switch now.
Exciting. So wait, does that mean Pokemon, the original Pokemon and stuff?
So no Pokemon yet.
Okay.
I have a feeling that they're either not allowed to do Pokemon or they don't want to do Pokemon, because I was going to look up a list real quick that I should have done already, if only I could type. They Game Boy on Switch. Let's just type that. There's Pokemon games coming, but not normal Pokemon games. You know what I mean? Like, let me see if they have a full list. Yeah. Okay. Is this a full list? Yes, perfect. So this is a list of all the Game Boy games. Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, the one I already talked about. Link's Awakening DX, Gargoyle Quest, Game & Watch Gallery 3, Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Wario Land 3, Kirby's Dream Land. Then they said these games are planned for the service but aren't out yet. And those are Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, Kirby Tilt and Tumble, and the Pokemon trading card game.
Ooh.
So the really good, really cool Pokemon trading card game is going to be on there. But not Pokemon Blue or Pokemon Red, you know? So I think there's still like, I think with that, I think it's a situation where they're like, if we want to re-release Pokemon Blue, we could probably get a few bucks off of it. Because they did recently do that a couple years ago on 3DS. They released Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, and it was like $8. It was like very affordable. So they're probably holding out for that. And then on the Game Boy Advance side, it's a little smaller, but some of the games that they have like planned that are coming to it are some of the best video games I've ever played. No joke. So we have Super Mario Advance 4, which is just a port of Super Mario 3. We have WarioWare Incorporated Mega Micro games. from when I was about 11 until literally last night. When I can't fall asleep, I play WarioWare Incorporated Mega Micro games.
Oh, that's cool.
And now I can do it on my Switch. A joy to 100% that game. Kururin, which is some Japanese only like puzzle game. I played it for a few seconds. It seems it's very unique. Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is the worst Mario Kart game, but only because it's a Game Boy Advance game. And imagine that. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which is the first in the long line of Mario and Luigi RPGs. And then Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, which is the one where you get really small. It's very good. Never beat that game either. It's on the list. But then they announced that coming to the service is Metroid Fusion, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Fire Emblem, the first one. And by the first one, I mean the seventh one, because they did that shit with Fire Emblem. The one with Lyn, the one on the Game Boy Advance, the really good one. F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and Golden Sun, which Golden Sun, another game I've technically never beat. But basically, literally, what happened, WarioWare, right, and Minish Cap, and Fire Emblem, and Golden Sun, these are all games that I purchased on the Wii U. And whenever I want to play these games, or I got to dig out the Wii U. There's one last game, and this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's the best Game Boy Advance game. Fight me. It's called Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire.
Okay.
Now, recently, on this podcast, I said I was going to make an attempt to 100% that game for the first time, and I haven't really been doing that, because every time I want to play that game, I got to dig out the Wii U, because I lost my Game Boy Advance copy. I don't know where, but it doesn't matter, because it's on Wii U. I was like, oh, I'll just buy it there. But I don't want to. I want to be able to put my Wii U away for good. And there's 3 games that are on the list. It's that one, and it's Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival and Star Fox Zero. And I don't think I'm going to get those other 2. But with the fact that they announced Pokemon Trading Card Game for the other service makes me think that Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire is like the perfect game to be put on the Game Boy Advance service. So I'm really looking forward to that. Literally, Metroid Fusion, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, WarioWare, Mega Micro Games, Minish Cap. Those are some of the greatest video games I've ever played. And they're all on Switch now on the expansion pack.
Drizzle, this is from a while ago.
Sorry.
He says, I'm hoping for an announcement on Pokemon Day. For like Red and Blue and stuff like that.
That would be pretty hype if they were like, the reason we didn't announce it then is because Pokemon Day was right around the corner. That would be pretty cool. If the new schedule we were talking about happens and I have a day that I'm going to stream on my own, if they put Ruby or Sapphire on Switch, I will Nuzlocke that shit day fucking 1.
Okay, cool. I'm down. I was projecting that more in the future. If you want to start getting into that shit now, we'll talk after stream.
No. Well, that's why I brought that up, because if that is planned, it's way down the line.
Okay.
Because the way these work is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 games on the Game Boy Advance service right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way. Those 5 are going to take up the next like 8 months.
Yeah.
And then, and then who knows?
Fair.
Which is exciting because when they announce new games on this shit, they just like stealth drop it. They'll have a video where they're like, update on the online services. Here's these 8 games across these libraries 2 days from now. See ya. Bye. And I'm like excited for that because the NES is fine. There's no games that I like absolutely love on it. The Super Nintendo, there's a lot of games I like. So sometimes they'll drop a thing. I'm like, oh, fuck. That's so cool. Game Boy Advance like was at its peak when I was a kid. Like I played all the Pokemon games. Most of my gaming was on the Game Boy Advance when I was the ages of when the Game Boy Advance was out. Bought a DS day one. It was just that was my console. I've gone on record saying that it's my favorite console of all time. I don't know if that's true anymore, but I can safely say some of my favorite games of all time are on the Game Boy Advance. And now I don't have to dig out a Game Boy Advance or a Wii U to play some of them.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. I was very excited about that. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.